So if you're a real estate agent, you're probably using social media in the wrong way. My name is Nicklas. I'm a top real estate agent in Stockholm's inner city. I'm currently ranked around top 15 out of 320, and I've spent over 100 plus hours studying on how the best in the world build their personal brands online. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to actually use social media as a business tool, not just a hobby, and how you can start attracting leads instead of chasing them. Alright guys, so I just thought that we would take a little bit of a deep dive into this, and as you can see here, like the first main thing that I think people have to start shifting their minds towards is that really seeing social media as this business tool and not something that is an influencer marketing tool, and kind of like shifting towards you posting a lot on social media as a real estate agent has zero things to do with you wanting to become an influencer, because ultimately like that is really not the case. It doesn't give you, it gives you $0 in the bank of you having 15,000 10-year-olds following you on social media because they have no apartments to sell or buy for that matter. So I think that is like the most important thing that we really have to understand. To be honest, like that's the real thing and the problem that I see when it comes to social media, that so many people, they fail because they're really playing the game in the wrong way. So they're using social media in the wrong way and kind of like having this wrong frame when it comes to the way it should be used, at least if you want to get more leads, get more money, have a nice life, just solving the whole thing with getting lead flow and everything like that. So as I said before, I think it's so important to like start to understand that social media, it's not just for influencers, it's not just for people that want to share their lives. Like it's such a powerful business tool that you as a real estate agent really can use if you want to achieve more success. So I think this is a huge shift that is going to come in the coming years. I am a firm believer that it's going to be as common as sitting at the office prepping content as it is making cold calls, dialing people that you have been on past client meetings and stuff like that. So I think this is a huge change that is going to happen, and that's why I'm really betting all in on this and trying to be a person that is extremely knowledgeable, like have a lot of knowledge when it comes to this. So the other problem as well that comes with you trying to be an influencer, or just rather say that you try to be consistent and post a lot of things on social media, and the biggest problem here is that you have to understand that most of the things that a lot of people are posting has zero value to your potential clients. Because in the end of the day, like what's the absolute best case scenario for you as a real estate agent? And that is that every single potential client of yours, like they know that you exist. And if you want to take it one step further, is that every single potential client of yours, like they think of you first when they want to buy or sell a property. And in order for that to be happening, you can't post things that provide zero value, because then your personal brand won't grow, and like it's just a bad way to go about it. Because if you wanna attract the right people, you have to give things to them that is very valuable, and that's why I've seen so many people that are just posting the wrong things and posting things that provide zero value, and that's why they're getting no benefits from their personal brand, and that's why they don't see a big impact on their pipeline and the revenue and the money they're making from social media, because they're really just using it in the wrong way. So I think this is a very important one, that so many people just post things that provide zero value to potential client of yours. So that is something that has to change. And one thing that is so common that I've seen a lot of times, and that is people are trying to they chase the wrong likes. So to put it very simply here, let's say that you're pumped, you're going to build your personal brand, you're going to provide value, are going to post things that you want to attract the right audience, which is your potential clients. Then it's much better to provide, to put up a post and craft content that is like directly tied to your target audience. And let's say that you only get like 10 likes or 50 likes when you do that type of post. That is so much better than you getting like 5,000 likes, and that is, and 0 persons of those likes are your potential clients. If it's, 10-year-olds, or if it's like 60-year-olds living in another, area, like the age and all of those things are out of relevance. Like, it's so important to start to understand, like, it's better to have, very, very few likes, but those have super high quality, than having, this, huge amount of likes and, subscribers and followers from people that are not your potential clients. Because so many people are stuck in this kind of loop, and they have built their brand and they think they have a lot of followers, but in the end of the day, like, those followers and those likes, they provide you 0 money in the bank for you as a real estate agent. So I think this is a switch that you really need to be making as well. And also the last problem that I'm seeing as well is directly tied toward the thing I just talked about, and that is, really chasing virality versus building a movement. And what do I mean by this? And to put it very simply, I'm seeing so many people out there today that they're just, posting, a lot of reels, a lot of things on TikTok, and, it has become this thing where, we measure success in, how many views and likes the post, got. But in the end of the day, like, if you're a real estate agent, well, if you are, you're probably watching this right now and you have watched this far, like, the only thing that is valuable for you is you having potential client of yours watching your content, liking, you're building and engaging with them. Because, honestly, like, if I would have 1 million views on a Instagram reel and there's 0 people watching that are, my potential clients, then, that is useless. And actually, that is something that is very, very bad. So if you're looking at this right now and you haven't built a personal brand, at least, to, a next level, or getting started and in building your brand in the right way, like, you have a huge opportunity, I would say, because a lot of people that might have built their brands, they might have built it in the wrong way. So let's say that you have like 5,000 followers, but all of them, there's 0 ones, 0 people, or let's say instead like 90% of the people are not your potential clients. Well, then you have like what is it, 4,500 people that are not your potential clients, and that are going to provide 0 value for you, and you are going to provide 0 value for them. So you have attracted a target audience that is not going to give you more money in the bank. So, honestly, like, if you're looking at this right now and you haven't built your personal brand, I would say, that is to be in a very good case. And if you have built your personal brand and you have a large following that is not following you, we have a solution for that as well. But I think that is very important. You don't want to go viral. Like, you want to build a movement instead. You want to, provide content for your niche, for your potential clients. That's it. So it's very important to start to adopt this mindset. And, we're going to see a huge shift in the way social media, when it comes to businesses and real estate agents, is perceived, just by the simple fact that it's such a powerful tool. Like, you can spend 30 minutes, you can, create a post, you can post it, and then you can reach, 5,000 of potential client of yours. Like, that is insane leverage. And that's really what we're coming into right now. So you have to start seeing, social media as this business tool, because it really is. And, as I said before, I've spent, over 100+ hours studying, the best in the world on how they build their personal brands. So, I've put up framework and I've seen what's working. And like, you have such a huge opportunity right now to be the absolute brightest star when it comes to, the personal brands online in your target audience or in your local market, let's say. So, like, don't sleep on this opportunity. Like, it's such a big one. So you just have to start understanding, like, okay, well, as soon as you think of social media, you have to think about, well, it's a business tool. That's the way I see it. And if we're going to fast forward 5 years from today, like, this is the way people are going to see it as real estate agents. It's not just going to be, Margaret posting, spicy margaritas with the girls. it's going to be used for business, not just like leisure and what you're doing on your free time. So I think that is very important. And why, when we come down to, the next thing, give away your absolute best tips for free. And the thing that you want to do here is, if you're going to use social media as this absolute powerful business tool, then you have to do it in the right way. And to put it very simply, you want to provide as much value as you can for your potential client of yours, which will make them, contact you over time if you do it right. And one simple key for making all of this happen, you're getting more leads, you have built more trust. And in order to build trust, you have to provide value. And the best thing I know is that you give away all your secrets for free. So everything, let's say you've been a real estate agent for 5 years, take an hour, take 2 hours, 3 hours, really figuring out like, okay, what things am I sitting on that is, giving me a unique edge as just being a real estate agent, and what are those things? And when you have, clarified that, how can I give it away for free? And don't be scared like, well, I've worked for 10 years. These are my absolute best golden nuggets that I have, that I hold so dear to my heart. Don't be afraid of giving them away, because that is what is going to differentiate yourself from, every single other real estate agent. And I think it's so important to differentiate yourself. And this is the absolute best way to just provide value. Because what you want have happen is over time, every week, every month, every year that goes, when your potential client are following you, you want to build this huge, thing where you have given them so much and they have given you so little. So the best way for them to give back to you is them basically picking you as their real estate agents. That's when you're going to get the payday. And the biggest thing as well is that, building trust in this kind of business that is so trust based, it's like the best thing you can do. Because if you really think about it, when people are going to sell, they're probably going to call between 3 to 5 real estate agents. They're going to compare. And in their eyes, like the most agents, let's say they call 5, at least 4 out of 5, in their eyes, they're perceived as the same. They're nice, they're kind, they're sharp looking, they have this good pitch. Everyone says that they're best in the world, etc. So the best way to differentiate yourself, I can't speak here, is by you basically just building trust beforehand. So you want to have built trust over such a longer period of time. So when it's time for them to sell, like in their mind and in their eyes, like you are the only option. And let's say that they compare you with 3 other agents. Then you want to be in the position where they trust you so much more. And then you and your product is perceived in a totally different way. And in the end of the day, what they're going to pick, like the safe bet, which is you, because all the trust you've given over such a longer period of time. And you have showcased your expertise. So it's really, starting the pitch with leading the game with 10-0. So trust is everything in business. Like, it makes your life easier. You're going to get so much more leads. You are going to charge more money because you're not going to be compared at the same level. Because if you have 4 different products and you perceive all of them as the same, well, what you're going to do? You're going to pick the one which has the lowest price. Makes sense, because you think they're the same. But if you have 4 options and one is so much better, like in your eyes, it's 5 times better, well, then it's not unreasonable for you to charge 2 times more at least. So, really understand that trust in this type of business is everything. And social media and building your personal brand is the absolute best way that you can build trust, at scale for your potential clients. So this is really, what you want to do. And the end goal that happens as well, on top of, building trust, is that when you post for a long enough time and you have provided so much value and you just give it enough time and you are consistent, well, what happens? You're going to be top of mind. So when, potential client of yours are thinking about selling, who are they going to call? Well, they're going to call you. It makes sense because you have given them so much value. And this is the best case to be in, you know, you being top of mind for every single potential client of yours in your market. Like if you would wake up tomorrow and every single potential client of yours would have you as their number one top of mind agent when they want to sell, well, like how do you think your life would look like? You know, you would get so much leads that you can't handle them, so you can probably like 4x your current, you know, fee, and you know, then you can, you know, earn so much money that you don't know what to do with it. So like this is such a good place to be at. So this is really the best case scenario. And just like looking at myself and the journey I've been on, like the biggest insight I have, you know, gotten in myself is, you know, I've spent the majority of my life, you know, wanting to be, you know, achieving something that is called stealth wealth, meaning you're, you know, anonymous, nobody knows you, and you have so much money, and you're just walking around peaceful, living life and having this private life. So I, you know, for the absolute majority of my life, I didn't want to be famous. If you would have told me 5 years ago that I was sitting here making YouTube videos on how to build your personal brand as a real estate agent, you know, I wouldn't have believed it. So the biggest shift that happened for me is that as well, because I was thinking, if I post content on social media, I'm going to be famous, I'm going to be an influencer, and I didn't want to be that. And that's why the biggest shift that I think for you watching this video this far as well have gotten, like, you know, you posting on social media has nothing to do with wanting to be famous and wanting to be an influencer and all of those things. It's just you being smart. Like, if I could put it like in one sentence, it's like you understanding the power of leverage that social media has, and you using social media in the right way is just you being a very, very clever person. You are very smart and making smart moves. That's the way I see it. So that was a very big shift for me as well, that I understood that, well, I don't want to be famous, but you know, I have this insanely powerful tool in front of me. So I just have to understand, like, you know, I cannot not use it. So it's like this huge thing that is just right in front of you. You know, we're living in, you know, this day and age where you have all the technology out there. So it's like the closest thing to like a cheat code in the way I see it. And that's why, you know, I'm doubling down on it for me as well. So you really have to understand that, you know, social media and media in general is leverage. So you can, you know, pick up the phone, make the calls yourself, pay for a you know, cold call list, and spend 60 minutes and maybe talk with 30 people. Or you can, you know, over time build your, you know, personal brand, and over a couple of years you probably have, you know, 90% of every single potential client of yours following you on your personal brand and on social media. Then you have a lot of leverage. So you really have to understand that that is what it's really all about. And for me, yes, such a big mindset shift. And as I said before, like, it's crazy that, you know, I could sit here, create a YouTube video, and, you know, 100 people can watch it. You can have 1,000 people, 10,000, 100,000, just by me sitting here and explaining, you know, truly valuable things, as you can do the same for your potential clients. So that is such a mindset shift that you probably have gotten by now, and something that really have changed my life and the way I see life and success as a, you know, businessman in the way I see myself. And I said it before, like, social media is such a big cheat code. Like, there's nothing out there that can have a bigger impact on your business than using social media in the right way. And me sitting here and telling you to build your personal brand, like, that is just the way you're using social media and building your personal brand in the right way, meaning, you know, using social media in the right way, basically. So if you want to, you know, close off here on a strong note, I think it's, you know, as I said, like, the absolute best thing to, you know, stop chasing and start attracting. And that is, you know, what is really happening here, because from what I'm seeing in every single industry, looking at the top best real estate agents in the world, you know, I've been working with one of the absolute best real estate agents in Sweden. You know, I have so many people in my network right now, you know, on a speed dial, that, you know, have, you know, giving myself so much insight. So I just know, you know, how does the absolute best real estate agents, in countries, the top 1%, how do they operate? They're not making cold calls. They're not chasing every single day to get new leads. They have built this huge machine, so they're just attracting leads all day, every week. So like they don't have to spend any time on attracting and chasing leads. So this is like a very, very important thing, and that's why I even have taken a deep dive into this topic, because like if you do it, the things I've just talked about, then you're going to build up your personal brand, which becomes this huge machine that is just going to give you so many leads that your career and life as an agent will be so nice. Because if you really look at it, like, okay, being in real estate, like trust and lead flow, like that is everything. Like if you could get so many leads, like let's say you get 10 new leads every single week, and every single one of them are contacting you and already trust you as their agent, like having that conversation is so much better. And you have to understand, like everything that I've witnessed over my almost 5 years as a real estate agent, being a top real estate agent, I'm actually the most selling agent in my niche down area. Lead flow is everything. So like the more leads you have, the more power you have, and the more money you're going to make, and the more apartments you're going to sell. So it's this simple equation, and what you have to do as a real estate agent is really operating and building like a system in a way where you're just going to get lead flow like all the time. Just a system where leads are automatically like coming to you. And from what I'm witnessing, building your personal brand, that is the best way for you to get, this insane lead flow. So you have to start to understand, like the last thing here, like you plus media equals success. Because like the most important thing that you have to start to understand as well, like there's no one, like no single person in the world which is, better at being you than you. So like your unique advantage, like your USP in sales, that is, you as a person and your personal brand and your values. So you have to start to understand, like you are your most powerful asset. And if you combine you as your unique person plus media, which is this, huge leverage, it equals to success. So that is, really the way things work, and it's the absolute most powerful thing I witnessed. So that's why, I've spent so many hours trying to learn everything that is about this topic, and built my brand to almost 7,000 followers on LinkedIn. And it has been, a very exciting journey, and I have so many things in the pipe as well. But this is the conclusion. I think it's very important for you to just understand that you plus media, it's success. Give it time. Really, create a plan where you're building a personal brand in the right way, because then you're going to get so many leads. And like, believe me when I say this, like if there's one thing you can do that will give you the absolute maximum success in your career as a real estate agent, like this is the thing, because you have media, you have yourself, you have insane leverage, and that is just success. So yeah, thank you for watching this one. One important thing that I wanted to highlight as well before ending this video is that please, like if you have any questions, shoot them in the comments, because with time I'm going to start each video with me just answering some questions that I've gotten in the comments, and starting with that for each video before I dive into the topic. So yeah, very interesting to know what's your thoughts on this. Do you agree? Do you don't agree? Do you have any questions on how to build your personal brand? Just shoot them below, and I'll answer them in the next one. Peace. See you in the next one.